When you are young, you believe you have time for everyone, time for the person who insults you and later calls it a joke, time for the relative who only remembers you when they need something, time for the friend who brings the same crisis to your door every week but refuses every solution. You remain patient, you forgive, you wait. Then one morning, you realize that you are no longer 30, you are 60, 65, perhaps 70. And the time you kept giving away was not infinite. My name is Jampa Norbu. I am 65 years old, and if age has taught me anything, it is this. After 60, protecting your peace is not selfish. It is a responsibility. There are 5 kinds of people you must stop allowing into the inner rooms of your life, even when one of them shares your blood. This does not mean you must hate them. It does not always mean you must abandon them. It means they can no longer have unlimited access to your time, your home, your attention, or your heart. Stay with me until the 5th person, because this is the one most people recognize too late. They may tell you they love you, they may even believe it, but every time you are near them, you become smaller. The first person you must avoid is the one who humiliates you and then calls it humor. You know this person. They make comments about your age, your body, your marriage, your money, or the mistakes you made many years ago. They do it at dinner. They do it in front of your children. They do it when other people are listening. And when they see the pain in your face, they say, "You are too sensitive." But a joke shared with love makes both people laugh. Humiliation makes one person laugh while the other person pretends not to be wounded. There is a difference. I once knew an older man who visited the monastery every spring. He was generous, intelligent, and respected by everyone around him. But whenever his younger brother joined him, this man changed. His shoulders dropped. His voice became uncertain. He apologized for everything. I asked him why. He said, "My brother has always been this way." No, cruelty repeated for 30 years does not become harmless merely because it is familiar. Sometimes the longest relationships contain the oldest wounds. And because the wound is old, we stop calling it a wound. We call it family. We call it tradition. We call it the way things have always been. But your nervous system does not care what name you give it. Your body still tightens before they arrive. You still rehearse your answers. You still feel exhausted when they leave. After 60, you do not need to attend every conversation in which your dignity is the price of admission. The next time someone humiliates you and calls it humor, do not explain yourself for 20 minutes. Say one sentence. "I do not find that funny." Then observe what happens. A loving person may feel embarrassed, but they will adjust. A cruel person will ridicule the boundary. Their response will tell you what their words tried to hide. The second person you must avoid is the permanent taker. This person does not always ask for money. Sometimes they take your time. Sometimes they take your energy. Sometimes they make you responsible for every emotion they feel. Every telephone call contains a new emergency. Every visit becomes a list of complaints. Every problem must somehow become your problem. You listen for an hour, but they never ask how you are. You help them on Monday, and by Friday they return with the same crisis. You offer a solution, but they do not want a solution. They want your attention. They want your rescue. They want you standing beside the hole while they continue digging. Be careful here. A person going through a difficult season is not necessarily a taker. Good people sometimes need help. All of us will need help. The difference is gratitude, responsibility, and movement. A struggling person uses your help to stand again. A permanent taker uses your help to remain exactly where they are. Many people over 60 are especially vulnerable to this because they were raised to be dependable. You may take pride in being the person everyone calls. You may believe being needed is the same as being loved. It is not. Being loved means your well being matters too. If the relationship survives only while you are giving, you do not have a relationship. You have an obligation disguised as affection. Before helping, ask yourself three questions. Did this person ask respectfully? Are they taking responsibility for their part? Will helping them solve the problem or merely postpone it? That sentence is not abandonment. Sometimes it is the first honest gift you have ever given them. The third person you must avoid is the carrier of chaos. Chaos has a particular sound. It arrives speaking quickly. It knows everyone's secrets. It tells you who is angry, who is jealous, who said something about you, and why you should be offended. This person can turn a peaceful afternoon into a battlefield without leaving the chair. They bring gossip into your home and anxiety into your mind. Then they leave. But the disturbance remains with you. Hours later, you are still replaying the conversation. You are angry at someone who is not in the room. You are defending yourself against words you did not hear. You are fighting a battle that may not even exist. People who carry chaos often present themselves as messengers. But ask yourself what the information allows you to do. Can you solve anything? Can you verify it? Does it protect anyone? Or does it merely disturb your peace? Not every piece of information deserves a place in your mind. At the monastery, we close the outer gate at night. We do not close it because we hate the world. We close it because darkness is not the time to invite every wandering thing inside. Your attention also needs a gate. You do not need to answer every call. You do not need to open every message. You do not need to listen to every rumor simply because someone offers it to you. If the answer is no, refuse the delivery. A person who respects peace will understand. A carrier of chaos will soon search for another door. Let them. If these quiet lessons on protecting your peace speak to you, subscribe to the channel and continue walking this path with us. The fourth person you must avoid is the controller who uses guilt. This person rarely commands you directly. Their weapon is more subtle. After everything I have done for you, a good mother would come. A real friend would agree. Family should always come first. You have changed. You think you are better than us now. They do not ask what you want. They remind you what you owe. And because you have a conscience, their words work. You cancel your plans. You lend money you cannot afford to lose. You tolerate behavior you would never accept from a stranger. You say yes with your mouth while your entire body says no. Family loyalty can be beautiful, but loyalty without limits becomes captivity. Being related to someone does not give them ownership of your remaining years. You can love your adult children without financing every poor decision. You can care for a sibling without answering midnight calls filled with insults. You can honor your parents without surrendering your health, your marriage, or your sanity. Love and access are not the same thing. You may love someone and speak to them once a week instead of every day. You may love someone and stop discussing money with them. You may love someone and refuse to let them stay in your home. You may love someone from a distance that allows you to remain kind. The controller will tell you that boundaries prove you do not love them. Do not argue. Simply remember this. Healthy love can survive the word no. Control cannot. A boundary is not a punishment. It is a clear description of what you will and will not participate in. You cannot control whether they shout. Then do it. A boundary without action is only a request. You may feel guilty the first time. That does not mean the boundary is wrong. It may simply mean you have spent your whole life being trained to have none. And now we come to the fifth person, the most difficult one to recognize. The person who requires you to betray yourself in order to keep them. Around this person, you hide what you really think. You minimize what you have accomplished. You pretend not to be happy because your happiness threatens them. You return to habits you worked hard to leave behind. You become the frightened child, the obedient spouse, the silent sibling, or the apologetic friend you once had to be. They do not relate to who you are now. They relate to the version of you they can control. The moment you grow, they become uncomfortable. The moment you become confident, they call you arrogant. The moment you choose peace, they call you distant. The moment you stop explaining yourself, they accuse you of changing. And perhaps they are right. You have changed. That is what living is supposed to do to you. At 60, you are not required to continue playing a role written for you at 20. You are not obligated to remain wounded, so another person can remain comfortable. You are not here to prove that you are still the person they remember. The years ahead may be fewer than the years behind you. That makes honesty more important, not less. Ask yourself a simple question after spending time with someone. When I leave this person, do I feel more like myself or less like myself? Do I feel calm or confused? Do I feel respected or reduced? Do I feel free to speak or relieved that the meeting is finally over? Your body often recognizes the truth before your mind is willing to admit it. Listen to that truth. But understand me clearly. I am not telling you to remove everyone who disagrees with you. A good friend may challenge you. A loving relative may tell you a truth you do not want to hear. A healthy relationship is not one in which you are always comfortable. It is one in which you remain safe enough to be honest. Do not judge someone by one bad day. Look for the pattern. What happens repeatedly? What happens after you tell them they have hurt you? Do they listen? Do they take responsibility? Do their actions change? An apology without changed behavior is not repair. It is permission being requested to repeat the same injury. If someone consistently humiliates you, uses you, brings chaos, controls you through guilt, or demands that you betray yourself, reduce their access. Begin quietly. Share less. Answer later. Meet in neutral places. End conversations when disrespect begins. Stop volunteering for responsibilities that are not yours. And if the behavior is threatening, abusive, or dangerous, seek help from people you trust and create distance safely. You do not need a dramatic final speech. You do not need to make them understand. Some people understand your boundary perfectly. They are angry because it prevents them from benefiting from your lack of one. Your task is not to convince them. Your task is to protect the life that remains in your hands. Picture your remaining years as 5 small lamps. One lamp for your health, one for the people who love you without using you, one for the work that still gives your life meaning, one for quietness, and one for the part of you that you neglected while taking care of everyone else. Every morning, you decide where the oil from those lamps will be spent. Spend it carefully. There are people who will sit beside your light and help protect it. There are others who will consume it and complain that it was not bright enough. Learn the difference. You can forgive someone without reopening the door. You can wish them well without joining their chaos. You can remember the good years without sacrificing the years still ahead. And you can love your family without allowing family to destroy your peace. After 60, peace is no longer something you postpone until everyone else is satisfied. If you wait for that day, it may never come. Peace begins when you stop giving unlimited access to people who repeatedly wound you. If one person came to your mind while listening, do not act from anger today. Observe the pattern. Choose one boundary, say it calmly, then keep it. Your remaining years do not belong to your guilt. They do not belong to other people's expectations. They belong to the life that is still waiting for you. And that life may begin with one quiet word: no.